In this video, we're gonna look how to make an abstract glowing cubes in Blender. So yeah, so it's just gonna be glowing and it's gonna be like rotating just like this, I guess. So yeah, let's start. So first I'm gonna go to this physics properties and then I'm gonna go to this rigid body. I'm just gonna make it like that, and as you can see it's just falling. So we don't want that to happen. So let's just scale it down. Just like that. And now we're going to add some shaders to it to just make it look like beautiful, because if we just do it after duplicating, it's not going to like work. So now I'm just going to press Shift A. I'm going to add an object info node right there. Now I'm going to add a color ramp. There we go. And now if I just take this random, just connect it to this factor, and just take this color and just put it to the base color, it's gonna have like a lot of colors if you just duplicate it. So now I'm just gonna put it somewhere like there we go. And now I'm just gonna take this one and just kind of make it a bit bright color like blue, and I'm gonna take this one, I'm gonna make it like red. Now I'm gonna add something like in between of those. Just gonna make it like a purple color. There we go. So I'm just kind of having a lot of colors right now. So now if I just duplicate, as you can see, just random colors are like, where I duplicate, they're like random colors. So now, if I just go to this material properties, as you can see, it just goes like that. And that is kind of cool because we're having an animation and we're having just some cubes. So we're gonna make it much better. So now I'm just gonna take these, just duplicate it. Just gonna press Shift R to just repeat that process. There we go. We're having like kind of a lot of fun. A lot of them. Just gonna let it like that. Shift T. So just make sure you're having like a lot of them. And there we go. We're having that animation kind of thing. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna add a force field to this so that it just has like a force to just like go with. So I'm gonna go Shift A. I'm gonna go to this force field right here, and as you can see, there is a vortex. So if I just select it, just like that, there's like nothing happens. It just, yeah, there's just a small animation right there. So we just want it to be much stronger. So I'm just gonna make this strength to something like 100. Now if I look, as you can see, it just makes this cool animation thing. So that is kind of cool. And now that it's done, we don't really want it to just like go down there. So for that, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take these. I'm gonna go to this scene properties, and in that, as you can see, there is gravity. So if I just disable it, it just doesn't like go from here. And as you can see, it just makes like a small chain. So that's kind of pretty cool. Now let's see how can we just like make a bit more better material and things. So now what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna delete this lamp because we don't really want it. Now I'm gonna take one of this and I'm gonna go to this shading tab. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add an emission to this. So I'm just gonna go like Shift A. I'm gonna add an emission. There we go. And if I just put this emission to the surface, don't really need this principal BSDF, so I'm gonna just remove it, and that works. And that is looking pretty cool. And if you want to make it much more cooler, you can just go to the world properties and just make this color a black color. And then I'm gonna go to this render settings, and in that and then as you can see, there is a thing called bloom, and if I just on it, as you can see, there is a small effect coming from it. So I'm just gonna make this threshold a 0, and yeah, that looks pretty cool. So now let's just go and so now let's just move this camera. So just make it better. So I'm just gonna move it from here. So I'm just gonna take this camera. I'm gonna press N. I'm gonna take this camera and I'm gonna go to this camera settings, object data properties, and then I'm just gonna go to these focal length. I'm just gonna decrease it just like that. I think that is all I need. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna get out of this. There we go. And now I'm gonna just take this camera, just select this camera and just press shift, and then just take one of those cubes, then press Control P, and then just go to this object. So now it's just like made it like. So now let's just render this thing out. So for that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to this render properties. I'm going to go and just on this ambient occlusion, this screen space reflections, and we don't want that motion blur. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this output settings, output properties, and then I'm just going to change this PNG to FFmpeg video, and then in the encoding to MPEG-4. And if you want, you can just put your file destination there. So that is how you do it. And now you can just render. So just go to render, and I'm going to render this thing in Eevee. So you could just go to render and render animation, or just press Ctrl F12. So that's it for today's video. And if you want more of this content, make sure to subscribe.